Granny, we're here in Gainesville and you're homeless, and you said you're homeless out here since you were 13 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
73. I'll be 74 in June. No, it was too many addicts and too many dealers I used to deal with.
Don't let the glowing sunshine, clear blue beaches, or the dream of a perfect retirement fool you. Florida isn't the paradise it used to be. That fantasy is fading fast. In its place, a growing nightmare of homelessness. Thousands of seniors once rushed here, hoping to enjoy peace in their final years. But instead of a cozy home, many now sleep in worn-out cars or under flimsy tents. Why? Because housing prices are exploding, insurance is out of reach, and the support system that once helped the elderly is falling apart. In this documentary, we're exposing the painful truth hiding behind Florida's glossy image. A state once seen as the crown jewel of retirement is now slipping into crisis. The American dream in Florida? It's falling apart fast. If you're still thinking about packing your bags for Florida, you need to watch this before it's too late. This isn't about scaring anyone. It's about showing what's really going on, so people can be ready before they make life-changing decisions. So, are you ready to discover Florida's hidden crisis? Let's dive into it. Right now, Florida was once the gentle final stop in a long journey of life. Back in the 1980s, it was the ultimate dream for aging Americans. People sold their family homes in New York, California, and Michigan. They moved to peaceful towns like Sarasota, Fort Myers, and Naples, where life was quiet, affordable, and full of sunshine. For many, this state meant peace in old age, waves crashing nearby, friendly neighbors, and a familiar home to grow old in. But that calm beauty, it only makes Florida's collapse feel even more tragic. Things changed fast. Retirement towns were swallowed up by luxury resorts, tall hotels, and sky-high property developments. Modest homes were torn down to make space for fancy golf courses and million-dollar condos. The state that once welcomed hardworking Americans now barely has space for them. People who gave their lives to building this country, retired teachers, postal workers, veterans, are being pushed aside. All they ever wanted was a stable home and a little peace. But today, rent has shot up. Insurance costs are crushing, and the programs meant to help them are being slashed or made almost impossible to use. So many have no choice. They're being forced to leave the homes they once loved. According to the latest HUD report, more than 31,462 people in Florida don't have stable housing, and nearly 1 in 4 homeless adults is over the age of 55. That's heartbreaking. These are the same people who helped build America, and now they're sleeping in parking lots or hiding in broken shelters. This crisis isn't just about bad luck anymore. It's about an entire generation left behind in a place they once trusted. When shelter budgets are cut, when medical help dries up, when the focus shifts to tourism and luxury condos, the people who built this state get tossed aside. Suddenly, they're treated like obstacles, just standing in the way of more profit. Florida still looks like the perfect retirement spot, but that dream now belongs to only a lucky few. The rest? They become invisible. They drift through the shadows of crowded streets, ignored and forgotten. Florida isn't the peaceful dream it used to be. It's becoming a sharp reminder that even the most beautiful dreams can fall apart from the inside. And if a place once called the final destination has no room left for its seniors, what future does that leave for the rest of us? Think about Miami. What comes to mind? Maybe sunny sidewalks packed with tourists, bright beach cafes blasting Latin music, colorful Art Deco buildings glowing in the sun. But the Miami in your memory? It's disappearing fast. Today, Miami has become the center of the homelessness crisis in the Southeast. And the most heartbreaking part, out of every 5 homeless people in Miami-Dade County, 2 are over the age of 60. They came here with big dreams, a peaceful old age, a quiet end to a long life. But that dream was crushed. Now they survive in the shadows, forgotten by the very city they believed in. Miami today is a strange contradiction. In one corner, People are paying $500 for dinner by the ocean. Expensive fashion shows and global business conferences fill the headlines. But just blocks away, thousands of people sleep on the streets because they have nowhere to go. In downtown and Overtown alone, nearly 9,000 people don't have a permanent home. And in some neighborhoods, even police say it's too dangerous to patrol unless absolutely necessary. Things are spinning out of control. But here's the terrifying part. Miami isn't the only danger zone anymore. Orlando was once known as the happiest place on earth, thanks to Walt Disney World. But just a short drive from that fantasy lies a grim reality the media rarely shows. Only 15 minutes from the park's west gate, there's an empty lot along the I-4 highway. But it's not just a field. It's now home to nearly 200 homeless people, most of them elderly. They live in tents, old cars, and shelters made from tarps, wood, and scraps. And here's the heartbreaking part. They're not outsiders. These are longtime residents of Orlando. Many used to work in hotels, restaurants, and tourist attractions. But now, they've been replaced, laid off, or simply too sick or too old to keep up. The dream they once lived is gone. This isn't just a local issue anymore. It's spreading everywhere. In Jacksonville, homeless camps have popped up under bridges. In Tampa, the Greyhound bus station has become a permanent stop for those with nowhere else to go. In St. Petersburg, the beach once filled with laughter is now covered with tents. Occupied by elderly and sick people the system has left behind. These aren't just the so-called marginalized. This is the real face of a society falling apart. The same people who once helped build these beautiful cities now can't even find a roof to sleep under. It's hard to believe, but today, many seniors spend their nights hiding from rain under convenience store awnings, eating donated meals from styrofoam boxes, and praying they make it through the night. No one dreams of growing old like this. This is what's happening in the middle of the very cities we once thought were filled with hope and happiness. Even Florida's most successful cities are now struggling to protect their oldest residents. So the big question is, does the American dream still have room for those who believed in it until their very last breath? Florida used to be the place where a peaceful retirement felt possible. The cost of living was lower than in northern states. People thought they could enjoy life on modest savings or a steady pension. But that dream, it's falling apart fast. Prices are rising so fast that even basic living has become a challenge. Rent has exploded. What used to be affordable is now out of reach. A simple one-bedroom in Tampa now costs over $2,200 per month. That's nearly 3 times what it was 10 years ago. In Miami, that number jumps even higher to over $2,700, just for a small, cramped apartment. With housing prices going up and incomes staying the same, many families are spending nearly everything they earn just to keep a roof over their heads. People are trapped. No matter how hard they try, they just can't make the numbers work. Especially seniors who live off social assistance, can't take on extra work, and have no way to start over. Even food has become a battle. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the price of meat, eggs, vegetables, and essentials is the highest it's been in 20 years. A single mother working more than 60 hours a week still can't afford both rent and healthy meals for her kids. Utility bills are also skyrocketing. Many families are now forced to choose between keeping the lights on or having enough food to eat. This isn't just inflation. This is a full-blown crisis. A silent disaster that's not only draining people's wallets, it's breaking their spirit. It's destroying faith in the American dream. The idea that hard work leads to a better life. And if that's no longer true, does that dream even exist anymore? One major reason for this collapse is big investors buying up homes and turning them into profit machines. First, it's one apartment, then 2. Soon, they own the whole building. Prices rise fast, and renters are pushed out. It's a business model that benefits the few and crushes the rest. Meanwhile, Florida has no strong rules to control rent. Landlords can raise prices suddenly. There's no law forcing them to save apartments for low-income residents. And the people, they pay the price. Even hard-working families are being forced out. Their paychecks can't keep up. Life is getting harder by the day. In Tampa, the organization Feeding Tampa Bay says that 1 in 6 adults now struggles with food insecurity. Even worse, 1 in 7 seniors has to decide whether to pay rent, buy medicine, or eat. Food banks that were lifelines during the pandemic are now overwhelmed. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough volunteers. And they simply can't keep up with the growing demand. Long lines outside Walmart and Costco parking lots. People waiting just for a chance at food. This is now a common sight in Florida, one of the richest states in America. But these aren't just random images. They're a warning, a sign that something deep inside our society is breaking. When a warm meal becomes a luxury, when seniors have to count every penny just to pay their electric bill, when children wait in line for a stale piece of bread, that's not just poverty. That's a system falling apart. Florida isn't the peaceful paradise it once was. It has become a land of forgotten people, left behind and barely hanging on. They live off tiny checks and scraps of support, while the rest of the world looks away. If rent and food are now out of reach for most, what will the new normal look like? And if the American dream was built on fairness and opportunity, does that dream still exist? For decades, America was proud of its safety net, a promise that the elderly, the sick, and the struggling would never be left behind. But in Florida, even that net is now torn. It's not strong enough anymore. The elderly, who were once a top priority, now wait months, even years, just to get help with housing. And as the waiting list grows longer, the resources are shrinking. In big cities like Tampa, Orlando, and Miami, the Section 8 housing voucher program has been paused. No new applications, just silence. And the line of people waiting? It stretches on and on. In Fort Myers, a 68-year-old woman shared her story. She applied for housing in 2022. It's now 2025, and she still hasn't heard back. In the meantime, she sleeps on a friend's couch, or sometimes on park benches. I don't want to be a burden, she said. I just need a place to call home. And she's not alone. The system that promised to protect her is now a maze, filled with confusing paperwork, not enough workers, and rules no one can understand. Most seniors don't have the strength to navigate it. They feel trapped, lost, abandoned by the same system they trusted. And it's not just housing. Healthcare services are vanishing too. Free clinics, mental health help, blood pressure checks, medication centers. Many are closing their doors due to budget cuts or reevaluations. And when all these lifelines disappear at once, it becomes too much. Too much for the people who need them the most. When seniors can't find help, what happens to others? Single moms, people with disabilities, former prisoners trying to start over. They all get thrown into the same fight, battling for food, a place to sleep, or a doctor's visit. And they're losing. A society isn't judged by the money of its millionaires. It's judged by how it treats its most vulnerable. And if even our elderly and sick are left behind, then what does that say about us? This collapse isn't random. It's the result of years of poor decisions and broken policies. Instead of building strong safety nets, Florida chose to chase shiny things, big investments, luxury housing, and fast growth. But behind all the fancy buildings, the cracks began to show. One of the biggest failures? The Sadowski Fund, Florida's main budget for affordable housing. For years, it's been misused or blocked. Thousands of low-income families were left without homes because the money meant for them went elsewhere. The Section 8 program is barely hanging on. It's overwhelmed by paperwork, short on funds, and way too slow. In cities like Tampa and Orlando, they've even stopped accepting new applications entirely. And rent? There are no real controls in Florida. Landlords and investors can raise prices whenever they want. That means working families and seniors have zero protection. No limits. No relief. No hope. Community health centers are closing. Mental health support for the elderly and the poor? Slashed or gone. Why? Because there's no funding left. And without those lifelines, the most vulnerable people lose their last bit of support. Poverty gets worse. Homelessness spreads. The crisis deepens. But instead of fixing the real problem, what do many local leaders do? They clean up the streets. Not for the people, but for the tourists. Before big events or parades, homeless camps are cleared out. Tents are taken down. People are pushed out of sight, just to protect the city's image. But the problem doesn't go away. It just moves and grows. This is what happens when leaders focus on appearances instead of solutions. Florida's system is cracking. There's no clear plan, no united effort. And worst of all, the people who need help most aren't the priority. If nothing changes, the poverty and homelessness crisis won't just stay in Florida. It will spread across the country. Because if we abandon the weak, if we leave behind the people who trusted the system, what are we really losing? Not just homes, not just money. We're losing our humanity. When a dream dies, what's left behind isn't just broken buildings or torn-up tents. It's the emptiness in the hearts of the people who once believed in that dream. Florida now has entire blocks filled with abandoned homes. Small stores are shutting down. People are sleeping under bridges. Seniors are living in cars. And no one knows what tomorrow will bring. Florida used to be a place where people dreamed of retiring in peace. Now, it looks like a place hit by disaster. Only there was no storm. Just silence. Just neglect. And the most haunting part, it's quiet. Too quiet. There are no major protests. No outrage. Just people surviving. Just people slipping through the cracks. And that silence should scare us all. Because it means this crisis isn't just coming. It's already here. And Florida, it's just the beginning. California, once the land of gold, now has more than 180,000 homeless people. In New York, even middle-class families are packed into temporary hotel rooms. In Texas, people are leaving cities to escape high prices and broken systems. This isn't just a housing problem anymore. It's a collapse. A slow, quiet collapse. Prices are out of control. Inequality is rising. Policies are full of holes. And the safety nets we once trusted are falling apart. The crisis has moved beyond big cities. It's now in small towns, in quiet suburbs, in places we never thought would fall. We're living in America where working hard your whole life doesn't guarantee safety. Where being middle class is no longer secure. It's just a temporary stop before the fall. And if we don't ask questions now, if we don't face what's really happening, then what we see in Florida today could be the future of America tomorrow. Are we really willing to lose a whole generation just to protect an illusion? Florida used to stand for peace, retirement, and happy endings. But now, its bridges are full of makeshift tents. Its parking lots are homes. Its streets are lined with silent suffering. No one ever thought a few bad choices could erase an entire dream. But it happened. This isn't just about budgets or numbers. It's about real people. It's about lives pushed to the edge, quietly, painfully, and without warning. And the scariest part? If we keep ignoring it, if this system keeps running the same way, the next city could be yours. The next victim could be someone you know, maybe even you. So what do you think about Florida's homelessness crisis? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and stay updated with our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.